and it's another episode, Modern Black Man Podcast. We got the vlog popping. I got Gigi from Big Homies with me. We got Ashley P in the building, and hopefully we get some more people to join us. I just wanted to have a quick conversation about a couple of things. Y'all, who's vaccinated? Nobody.
So you just putting this out on Front Street just like that. Like you're
I
just gonna
had
say
to because
who's
I think it's
vaccinated.
ain't nothing wrong with it.
Did you?
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Of course
I
not.
want
I
to
feel like
know
just like politics and religion, like
what your vaccination status.
yeah, I feel like vaccination now more than ever has become something that falls under the line of religion and politics. There's some things that you can
Mm.
talk about, but I think it's sometimes it can become a little murky because for the person that doesn't do it or the person that does do it, there's that difference where now we can't find a commonality because now we're on two different sides of the fence. That's just how I've seen it.
Yeah,
But to answer your question, I am vaccinated.
nice, nice.
But that's how I
And I
feel. I
mean,
truly feel that way.
yeah. No, I like having the conversation because it's exactly what you said. Everything is divisive, polarizing, or we could just call it political now. Have you noticed that? Everything's a dichotomy. You can't do anything without either being put into a camp or being a part of a camp. And I just think that's one of those interesting things. I only asked because I was the most I was against vaccinations a year ago, right? I just, I didn't think that it would be productive, successful, this, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. I find myself today, I've been vaccinated 3 times. I've got the boosters. I've got all of them. I got flu shots, everything. Just because I think the way that I'm reading this situation is that that's how they are dividing us. It's through the vaccination protocol. The people that aren't vaccinated are going to suffer a social death, at least for the next 6 months. I don't want to be restricted in any way. So when I first started this whole vaccination journey, I was actually in DC, and DC started the vaccination. I want to say November of last year. So in 2020, I actually had a friend. She worked for AstraZeneca. She was a part of that Project Warp Speed, and she embarrassed and humiliated me so many times because I took that position. I didn't believe in vaccine. I thought it was just going to be them putting bugs on us, or people were going to be sick in 6 months, this, that, and the other, whatever. But the research compelled me. I love information, and I didn't do it in DC, but I got to my next station in New Mexico, and I got vaccinated. I got all my shots. I've never had COVID that I know of. I've never tested positive for COVID that I know of, but I've seen it from day one back in 2020 when this whole damn pandemic started. Um, so that's what kind of compelled me. I'll save that, but DC had COVID in 2019. We knew about COVID in November of 2019. I worked right down the street from Bowling Air Force Base. For anybody that might not know, that's where all the intel comes from. That's where the president gets his briefing, and there's people that work there. And those people had been talking about COVID since October or November of 2019. I know plenty of guys that have told me how they thought this was going to be a massive disaster, and they knew. America didn't do anything until March. We had the information for almost half a year, 5 months. So that's why I got vaccinated, y'all. If you're not vaccinated, it's really hard to do anything. So Gigi, you, I know I don't want to make you uncomfortable. I'm not trying to make it political, but you said you're vaccinated. Were you compelled at all because of the social measure? Because you know that you can't go out to eat, you can't ride on the bus, you can't go. I mean, it's a million things you can't do if you're not vaccinated.
Yes and no, but I was already
Mhm.
like on the list of high risk because I have like a heart condition from my accident. So it
Mm,
was something that was already kind of pushed on me in the beginning, but I wasn't for it. I did not want to do it initially. If I could have not done it at all, that probably was going to be my game plan. However, because of my heart condition, and there were people like slowly but surely like getting COVID around me, I got really nervous. And to be really selfish, I wanted to travel. 2019, we couldn't travel at all. 2020, well, that's not true. 2020, we couldn't travel at all. And so for me, I knew that I had trips coming up. And the best way that I felt at that point in time for me to be able to feel safe, especially with my heart condition, and still be able to travel at the same time, plus a lot of the places, like you said, you couldn't travel without like showing that you were vaccinated. That was my main reason to get it done. Was I was trying to be outside.
right. So you said you couldn't travel at all in 2020. What airport are you going out of? Newark?
Yeah, like in 2020, like there was no traveling happening in 2020 for the most part. I mean, there was, but for the most part, no, right?
Mm. I was
Like
traveling a
trips
lot
that
in
I
2020.
planned, like
I was
trips that I had
traveling out
planned
of
were
town and
canceled.
everything.
Were these trips that you already booked or you booked in 2020 and then traveled?
Both. Crazy enough, I'll be honest. At the beginning of 2020, I went on an Italian cruise. So literally, I had come back, and I think it was like a week later we had heard about Italy, how this COVID thing was popping off. After we had already
Yeah.
heard about China, and then yeah, I have been traveling internationally. I've been going to Miami. I've been going everywhere. I slowed down
Okay.
my travel significantly for a few months in 2020, but I was back up by October. So I think the only time I was on the ground, May. I think I stopped traveling in April or May, and then I was back up in October.
That would
So
make
really, I
sense
guess
with
it's the summer off.
that would make sense with the time frame, right? Because in 2020, it wasn't until like February and March where they really like shut down the world. Then after
Yeah,
that, it was like
yeah.
we weren't able to do anything. For me, I had trips later on within 2020 that were now canceled. I had a cruise, I had a trip to Jamaica. Like all my trips that I would have had during that summertime of 2020, all were pushed to 2021.
Yeah, see, that was what was crazy to me. I went on my first cruise in 2020, at the very beginning of the year, and I got back to Miami the day Kobe died, and it was just, it was crazy because we went on this dope trip, man, like amazing ship, and I had never been on a cruise because I'm kind of leery about being on a boat, so um, yeah, like I realized it was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I got lucky, I guess, by time. And I think the airports kind of had their thing, but it was only a couple months. I mean, I really was back up in the air and going. I really was only down for a couple of months. With that being said, that's why in 2021 I'm getting all the vaccines, I'm getting all the boosters because I don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be exposed and vulnerable because I do a lot of traveling. So that's what got me. I know a lot of people have stated a lot of things, and I was one of them. Again, professionally, I work in an environment where I have to advocate for people to get vaccinated and for health, and that's what changed my mind. So yeah, um, hopefully 22 we don't hear anymore about this COVID. We hear that we're getting ahead of it. There's no more variants. Because right now you already got what? You've got Delta, Omicron. I think there's another one. Do they call it B or beta or something like that? But there's at least 3 variants of COVID-19. With that being said, I hope that this vaccine is enough and I don't have to get any more boosters. I
I
also
believe
want
in you.
you believe it?
I
Okay.
believe in you.
I appreciate that. I also wanted to talk about misogyny. I've been finding myself doing a lot of media lately, and it seems like I'm having the same conversation in every room. And I'm going to be honest and transparent, like I do. Um, I think misogyny is lost. I think that in our effort to create equity, we've gotten lost in what we're really trying to do. Does what I say make sense?
Yes and no. I want you to give me an
Mhm.
example for me to better understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, like specifically with Black women. I want to have a panel. I'm going to try to get a panel more Black women, but I think that there's something going on in the culture where Black women defend other Black women blindly. I don't know if it's in the Gal code or what, but no matter what a woman does, women, I feel it in them to protect her. And I think I'm starting to take an issue with it because it's unjust.
So is this like a perception that you've been seeing, an experience that you've had? Because I personally
Wait,
don't do so.
yo,
So like,
Alexa, stop. Sorry, what'd you say? You says it's perception
did
of
Alexa
what?
just yeah, is this your perception? Because like can you give an example of something like in this time frame, maybe something that you saw on your timeline, an experience that you've had to kind of like
Well, I was saying that when I do
make sense
media,
of your point?
Black women seem to blindly defend other Black women at all cost, even if it's immoral or unjust. It doesn't matter because in my experience, what I've been seeing lately is that it's just to say that they did it. I got you, sis. That's what I mean. I was talking about social media, but I can give
Okay.
you obviously real world examples. I work in the real world. Um, when I work
You
with
don't
females
say.
when I work with females that are immoral, reckless, that are not doing the right thing, I've noticed that women, and it bothers me, women try to cover it up. They try to protect it. They try to dismiss it. They try to downplay it. And that is alarming to me because I thought women were more moralistic than that.
Okay, I can understand where you're coming from, but do you also see it as a woman who can see where this woman's coming from but from her own experiences and not really speaking for her, but speaking for herself? So, and I
Yeah,
think that's with any
that's
type of
what I'm
conversation.
saying.
Like, if I'm going to
Yeah,
support you, it could have been something that you said that I can see something that touches me as well. And although I'm supporting you, not knowing your whole story, I'm really
right.
speaking for myself. It sounds like I'm supporting
Yeah,
you, but in this situation, like maybe I have had someone cheat on me, or maybe I've had
yeah.
this similar situation happen. Maybe not the exact same way.
Gigi, you get
Maybe
it. That's exactly what I'm talking about. What is that? That's crazy to me. That's not thinking for yourself. That's not adult like behavior, and that's how I've noticed women in the current culture are made.
and are we speaking
Because
about women in general or Black women?
I am talking about Black women. Because yes, I am talking about
Because
Black
all
women.
women do that. It's not just a specific Black women thing. But if
Mm,
you want to
I
kind
know
of
white women too. I
narrow,
know Asian. I know Latinas, and they
that's what
don't
I'm saying.
be
I feel
trying to
like
rob for no reason.
I think that it's an all woman thing, but I think it's more about the idea that like it's now more than ever as time has developed that women have voices, and
Mm,
and there was a moment in time where the only way that my voice was relevant is because of who I was with, meaning my husband. And
yeah,
now that's no longer my platform. Now I can speak for myself and other women such as myself. So we are now in a movement where women now have a voice outside of their counterpart. So although it may not always be the best thing, because men do it too, they be supporting men,
eh,
they be doing that
nah,
shit all
men
the
tear each other
time.
down. My best friends will
Okay,
tear me down to help me see something where I'm wrong, and I think that's what I'm saying. That's the difference between men and women. Women are reprehensible, and I'm really starting to get down on women because, like you said it, you nailed it, and I didn't think about it like that. Women are speaking from their own experience, and you even complicated it, talking about that little wrinkle of your partner because it used to be your husband had to speak for you, right?
yeah.
Um, I'm seeing it and it's just like I'm definitely not cool with it. I don't like it at all. And it seems childish to me.
I want you to
Um
change your spaces. I want you to change your spaces so you can find women that don't do that. Every woman, specifically
eh,
Black women, don't do that.
Well, I think
Yes.
you were in a space
Follow me
with
into
me
some
not too
rooms.
long ago,
I'll give you a breath of fresh air.
and we had a man.
That was not a woman. That was primarily men
Yeah, it was a man
in
trying to
that
play that,
room.
and it bothered me because it was exactly my experience. He sounded like an idiot because that's what women do. Women will defend each other just to say that they defended a woman. And I tell you, I speak from personal experience. I'm a counselor, so I deal with people when they are going through things, right? And I have found myself in a situation where I can't be honest, and it bothers me because the shaming thing, it's kind of like being a woman. I'm saying this, guys, is a disability. We have to coddle women or treat them like they're children because we don't want to be oppressive or shaming. Men don't get that same protection.
That is not true. I literally saw
Ah,
on my timeline about a man who killed himself, his ex-girlfriend, and his wife, and a woman straight up defended him and said that this wouldn't have happened if they weren't playing with his emotions or his relationship with his children. Like,
I
I
think I've
get
heard
where
that
you're
too,
coming
though.
from.
I think I heard that too, though, because the woman, yeah, they try to blame the woman, right? No one should murder anyone. That's universal. But there was at least exception that we can see. So bringing the focus back to what I was talking about with these women, women will defend women at all costs because women are different. And I think women maybe just see that it's easier to, I don't know, to just do it and not worry about the consequences or anything else, so they can
I
say
really
that it's
think
done.
I really think it's your perception and the type of women, unfortunately, that
Yeah,
you've had to deal with. Because I've been in rooms where if a woman is wrong or saying something that does not fall in line with any of my beliefs or morals, I'm going to call her out or I will remove myself from that situation. I think that any woman that ever has been hurt, abused, um, or has gone through any trauma, of course, I'm going to support them. I will never tell them that their story is not relevant or it's wrong. But at the same time, there are rooms, there's actually, it's probably even a woman that will not just say, yeah, 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 be the yes man because a woman is on a platform just speaking her truth.
okay.
Everybody don't do it, B.
I just
We have some ones that read, you know.
yeah, I have a relationship that I was in with a woman, and she's, I'm glad I'm out of it. I've been out of it for a while, but like the morality of it is what really bothers me. And seeing how women can get away with bad moral character more easily than men might be the perception that you're talking about, but I see it in my life and other people's lives, and I don't know if we're heading that direction, if this is the new move, or what. But that's definitely been my experience. But I
We're
hear
gonna
you.
get you
Mhm.
better experiences, and also take into account that women also are the ones that definitely deal with the brunt of a lot of emotional distress and trauma in
See,
some relationships. And
see, but men do too, and
yes,
no one is
they
excluded
do.
from it. But we coddle women because of our traditional gender roles. Ashley was actually in a space with me not too long ago where I talked about this because I do believe in those traditional gender roles, which are wrong because they're paternalistic. And I
You don't
kind of
think
want to
men
have a
get
conversation.
coddled? You don't think
No,
that a man that happens to cheat on his wife or spouse or person that ends up still, and that woman still being there, you don't think that's no form of coddling?
how is that coddling if the woman's there because she got cheated on?
No. So he does something wrong and she stays? That's not coddling?
I don't get what you're saying.
I'm saying that in your situation where you're saying that women are always coddled based off of whatever, that men don't get coddled. There's men that are
No, men don't
habitual
get coddled
cheaters
for
or
slut shaming. Men don't get coddled for whore shaming, hoe shaming. Like we use the term bitch, hoe, whore, slut. Like I don't know what you would call that demeaning language that men use. Yes, women have a protection. It is especially black women. It's a hot button issue, and unfortunately, the only men that black women can probably equalize, slay, or bring down a notch are black men. Is been my experience and my, I guess, perception. What I see. Um, Jeffrey
Okay.
Epstein, he raped babies. Like Ghislaine Max, like all these people that are doing these high crimes, these morally irreprehensible crimes, right? Whether like
Yeah.
they can get away with it. But R. Kelly, he was on the line for a long time, and to be honest, I believed that he was innocent. Uh, Bill Cosby, I believed that he was innocent. Bill Cosby got out, Kells is still in. That's the difference, in my opinion.
Well, that's
Um,
money. That's not even about who's right or who's wrong. That's definitely Kells definitely ran out of money, hence why he's still in there. And at
I
the end of
can't
the day,
call it.
with Bill
I
Cosby,
can't
like
call it.
he still
Yeah.
got a little change in his pocket at the same time is getting off because he said he did it. Not saying that he didn't do it and we're proving the justice system wrong. He literally got off of a technicality, not because he didn't do these
You're
things.
talking about Cos. You're talking about Bill
Yes,
Cosby.
absolutely.
I don't know how to feel about these, but yes, absolutely. Like, man, and the cases were so old. Yes, you're right. Did he do it or not? It's not that he said he didn't do it. It's that it was improper legal procedures.
Yeah, but because he said that he did it, they literally had him on there. But because they said that that could not be used in court, and they still did it to get him locked up, that's the only reason why he was out, not because he didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let's talk about Cos's crime because if I'm not mistaken, he
Oh,
was
I hate that topic. Okay.
he was slipping Mickeys and pills and these chicks drinks, and I guess he was breaking them off while they were sleeping. Is the way that I understand it. Is that right?
I'm just gonna say maybe. I don't have like
Right.
I
That's
just know
fine.
that he did inappropriate things to women.
Yeah, like I really don't know the details, and I certainly none of us were there. Um, but I think the larger social picture that I'm just pointing at is, I guess, double standard. A woman, specifically situations I'm talking about, a woman can be horrible in life, but because she's a woman and women identify with women, they want to protect her. They want to
Not true.
give her essence of self-esteem. They don't want her to be disrespected. And I'm starting to take exception to it because men, our ride is not the same. And I think being a modern man, it is so much more difficult now than ever being a man. It's ridiculous. We have to do more than our fathers had to do, right? But we also have to do a lot of the same things that they did. And that's what I don't think our culture really gives appreciation, respect, or roses to men. Because
I
there are
won't take
good
that away.
dudes out here. Yeah, like there's some good fathers now. I know my generation of men, all my guys, we didn't have dads,
You
but
said now. There's
right? I didn't
always
have a
been
dad
good
growing up.
fathers.
I didn't have a dad growing up, but everybody I know that's
I
a dad
do,
is a
and I
good
still
dad.
do. Shout out to my dad.
Yeah. It was rare. It was a period where it was rare. Like I didn't know anybody with a dad growing up, to be honest with you. And I used to kind of bully kids that had dads because I didn't have one. Um,
Oh,
but like
yeah.
now men take that responsibility very seriously. And I think that men take being husbands more seriously than they did before as well. And I
Oh
said,
no, I
no,
don't believe
tell me
that.
about
Absolutely not. But I do want to say, first and foremost, just that Black men do have feelings too, and I can agree in the instance where Black men weren't really able to be vulnerable because of the expectations of how they're supposed to be in the home life every day, and so there are times, not times. I do believe that Black men also should be heard and should also be able to be vulnerable and still be seen as men. So I want to put that out there first and foremost. Um, but to also respond to your past thought about women, in regards to the Jeffrey Epstein case, there is his counterpart. Uh, I want to say her name is Ghislaine, who is now in court. It's not being publicized, but she's also being taken to court because of um, the abuse of the children in the past. So she's going to be charged for the most part. Well, that's the plan. So I don't want you to think that it was just him. He also had a
no.
partner, who happened to be a woman, and she's being called onto the carpet.
She was the one supposedly doing the heinous stuff.
The recruiter for the most part,
Yeah,
yeah.
because she was getting those gals for him, and they had a little run. So yeah. It's not when I talk about the misogyny. to bring it back to the point, it's really about our new gender roles because women are more independent than men now. Like I've been in a lot of relationships where my lady has made more money than me, right? My lady has more education. She's a lawyer, she's a doctor, you know what I mean? And like those gender roles have changed.
It's
Um,
always been that way. Think about when the men had to go to war and there was no one there to do the work of the men. We were
mm,
doing it. Like it's
okay.
just the idea that the expectation of what women are supposed to do and be at home. But when our men were not there, we had to do it. And then even as we evolved into this system where it was clearly anti-black, where they were literally trying to separate our homes, women still had to do it for themselves because they were finding ways to put our men in jail or putting in the war or to kill them or put them on drugs. So women were always independent. We just understood that having a man in our lives completed the vision. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Allowing it to be a family frame. But
I
don't
love what
ever
you're
second guess
saying.
that the day that the man had to walk out, like Queen Elizabeth, like you still had to hold it down. And the man should be able to trust that the same woman that he's allowing to be in his household could still lead in the event that he's not there.
Now that sounds like some sense. I think that's the vision, right? Like my big gripe is that we're down on family. The family unit is struggling, and I think in the current times it's being redefined. But what you
I
said
agree.
is a winning formula. I agree with that so much. I think that if we actually coordinated and worked together, instead of trying to call everybody a power couple, we could all be powerful couples, right? People
Absolutely.
could be stable, happy, and at peace at home, and they could be productive away. But that's, I'm telling you, I know you know this, but there's so many women that either love their independence or are afraid of being dependent, and that's just it. I think that men kind of started the trend because I'll admit, as a man, nothing is more terrifying than a relationship. No dude wants a relationship.
Why?
We love sex. We love maybe some companionship, some diversity, but it's a responsibility, I think, for a man to hold down or be in a relationship. As a man, I know my traditional role is to provide. As a man, I have several things that I have to do. Um, and
Who
I
taught
have
you
no.
that? Was that society or your household?
Well, I grew up with a single mother, so my mother instilled in me as a man, I'm gonna have to pay the bills. I'm gonna have to satisfy my wife. I'm gonna have to have like I have to do a million and one things, right?
Shout out to your mom, B. But let's put that into perspective, right? She's
Mhm.
installed something in you, knowing that she was doing it herself. She was playing mom and dad for you. So to
Yeah,
have that expectation from my son, like this is what you need to do as a man, but understanding that you're able to see your mom do everything that she's telling you to do on her own.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's exactly that, like you said. Um,
So isn't that kind of and not trying to like push you in a direct or a thought process, but wouldn't that allow you to see that although your expectations of what you needed to be as a man can also be contradicted with the idea that you saw your mom doing everything that she told you to do, and that in our society now that men, a lot of men with single moms with the expectation of this is the type of man that I need to be with my wife in a different time frame, they kind of contradict the times, right? So if I'm saying that I'm
no,
supposed to be the head of the household, but all I've seen was a woman as the head of my household.
well, no. I think that for me, that was ideal. Ideally, I would like
Okay,
to
I
have
understand.
a wife in a traditional family structure, and my
Okay.
experience has been very different from that. I think today I'm closer to, I don't know, achieving that, having that traditional family with the traditional roles. But as a kid, I felt that my mom took away opportunity for a man to be in her life. I feel that way
Mm,
today still because she's
mm.
independent. My mom ain't listening to no man. My mom's not a partner. And that's the conversation I have with my mother since I was probably 10 or 12 years old, um, especially at a younger age, because I didn't realize a man can be a drag. A man can slow down your progress, if that makes sense.
Yes. But your partner also tells you about you and your journey as well. So it's not always really about your partner. Your partner is a reflection of yourself.
What do you mean?
So for the person that may find themselves with someone that's dragging them down, I would ask them to reanalyze themselves in that situation when they met their partner. What were the expectations that you thought about in this relationship, or what goals or things that you aspired to be within this relationship? If you told me that you had anything, that's only telling me where you were in your journey with your person and that you didn't even know what you want. So this person just happened to be able to either have this great chemistry with you and you kind of roll with it. But for a person that already knew what they were looking for, had an understanding how to love themselves and how to love others, they wouldn't be in a situation where someone was dragging them down. That's just how I see it.
I hear you. I don't know if I understand it. I hear what you're saying.
You don't understand that who you with, even when it comes to friends, is a reflection of yourself?
Well, that's the thing. Let's talk about it, okay?
Okay.
A lot of people try to go to the silo, right? Because I'm that way. I'm real quick to say, something's not working out. It's not what I want. I'm going to work on me, right? That's what men usually do. And we take it to the drawing board. We stack up some money. We look good. We do whatever we got to do. And I'm just saying that I'm learning from experience, from seeing so many people and myself. It's not always that simple, if that makes sense. Because I think I hear what you're saying. You're saying that your partner's a reflection of you.
Yeah, where you are in your journey.
Your relationship missing something, maybe, is what you're trying to say.
You look at it in a better perspective using your own situation without me knowing it. The person that you were when you were with your ex individual is no longer the person that you are now. Do you believe that?
Well, I have a complicated view on that because I think we change every day, but I also think I've been the same person since I was like 10 or 12.
No, well, we're going to work on that too, B. But you also realize that even with this conversation, that your perception and your ideas about relationships and men and women have evolved from the time that you were in that relationship to where you are now. You know that there's a relationship that you no longer want, and it's not that. Then the person that you are going to be with or with is completely different from the person that you were with because you are different. Your experiences have changed you and your views on relationships. Wrong? Yes? Maybe? No?
Well, I kind of feel vindication because I don't think that I've made massive change in myself. I was definitely with someone that I shouldn't have been with, right? And I guess I think we all evolve. Like I said, I think we change every day, but I don't know. I think.
How do you know that you're supposed to be with them?
How do I know?
Yeah, how did you know?
Only time in my life I had experienced negativity that I experienced. If that makes sense. Like I had never experienced the kind of negativity I had experienced or the toxicity I had experienced in one situation in my entire life.
How did you know that it was toxic?
I was wilding. We were doing some wrong things. I guess I'll be honest. I was dating a married woman, and I shouldn't have been doing it. I had felt that we were in a situation that could have progressed, could have prospered, but it was not the right thing to do. It was a losing situation.
Understood. I get it. So, like I said, I don't want to make it seem like I'm being combative or pushing you to a view, but also understand that you have a heart as a man. I see that just from hearing some of your past stories and where you are now and how you're looking for a healthier relationship. I wouldn't say that's the same B that was in a relationship that allowed that toxicity to happen. I would say that this man now knows when he's talking to someone or pursuing someone, he's able to see more red flags, things that he can be like, you know what, you're great, but not.
I got an example of a canceling statement though.
Yeah. No, that's 100.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
I put him on mute just because I think he like we doing something. What's happening, man?
Oh, you need to know what I put in it.
Hit him one more time. No. You're absolutely right. I do think that we evolve. I know that I've evolved. I just know that a lot of my convictions have been the same for so long as well.
What's up, y'all?
What's happening, man?
Yo,
Hi, Mom.
You heard us? we was talking about a few things, man. We started out talking about vaccinations, and we kind of evolved into some misogyny and relationship stuff. Um, I think he might be doing something, so I'll brief him when he get back. There he is. How much have you heard us talking about, Mo? I hit him back. But yeah, absolutely. I do think that I've progressed, I've grown, I've evolved, but fundamentally, I think there's a lot of things, especially when it comes to morals and scruples, they'll never change with me. I'll always feel the same way. And I'm not trying to cling on to that because I think that it's healthy to evolve and to grow. But that's just kind of how I answer the question when you ask it, just thinking it out loud, I guess.
Hey, what's up?
Understood. And like I said, like I'm not in a place where I'm trying to tell you something, but I do want you to see that you have growth and like your experiences have allowed you to see who your ideal partner should be based off, you know what I'm saying? You went from a household with a single mother to have the
No,
ideals
that's
that you
what you
set
call.
within you to meet your partner that you think that you're supposed to be with forever and realize like that's not the person that you are, the relationship that you want to be in. And as you evolve, you're now seeing that. And especially as time changed and how women are now being perceived or being approached,
Yes,
even with social media, that it has
yes.
allowed you to know that that past thought process that may probably would have made sense doesn't make sense in this time frame because people are moving different. And that's all I'm saying.
I think that I'm able to see, not being disrespectful to women, I'm able to see these hoes the way that they is, because it's
That's
not
what
a
you say,
good.
but you had to go through the hoes to see them hoes because you didn't even know what a hoe was until you had them.
You right. Okay, you right.
I
You
got a
right.
whole lot of
All the hoes.
hoes. Hey, what's up, Gigi? Gigi, you on here talking your butt off today.
I am.
Yeah.
It's B fault. It's B fault. Hi, Mo.
Hey, what's up? What Gigi? Hey, I done came in the middle of the show and everything.
Nah, Gigi been dropping some bombs though. She been
She been
dropping
dropping
gems.
some gems today.
Yeah, man. She's all about the growth path, and she's helping, including me, on seeing my evolution.
Mm,
She's a life speaker, and
that's
it's been a
good.
really good combo, man.
Oh, thank you. I
That's
appreciate
what I'm
that.
talking about. GG opening up, bro.
Yeah, we got to get her open.
We
Hey,
done
Mo,
got
you,
to
you
open now.
vaccinated?
Excuse
Are you
me.
vaccinated?
Pause.
Huh?
Pause.
Are you vaccinated?
I had to, yeah. Military made us.
Have you gotten boosters yet?
No, hell no, I'm not doing that. Uh-uh.
Yeah,
No, I'm
I
not gonna do the booster shots. The
I
booster
got my
shots is
booster
really
Friday.
for people. You got it already?
I got my booster Friday. My chick a
They
pharmacist,
they
so
gave it to you?
yeah, man. I
You bro,
I
they
got it.
weren't giving a booster shot. They giving it to people, you know what I'm saying, that's got underlying health conditions. I can't believe they gave it to you.
Oh yeah, bro. I wanted to get it because I told you
Wow.
I used to be against the vaccine, and then I started
Yeah.
doing a little research, and I'm fully vaxxed. I'm boosted. I'm doing
Bro,
way too much traveling not to be. Um, I really
and the
believe that it's gonna get worse. I think there's
And the crazy
another
part,
variant.
look, check this out, B. And the
Tell
crazy
me.
part about it is that, you know what I'm saying, I've been in the military shoot for a while now. And when you first come in the military, man, they give you all these shots or whatever. You don't know what's in them shots. You know what I'm saying?
Nope.
So
So don't.
so I tell people all the time, man. So I'm like, dude, if you military, you done went through all this stuff. You done took all these shots the military give you, and you ain't have no idea what's in there. And you doing the research on the vaccine, and you kind of what seem like you know what's in there or whatever. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot of military people don't want to get it. They skeptical of it, but I've been telling people, I'm like, it's not like they just started this vaccine. Like they didn't come up with this in those 6 months, man. They been
Nope.
had this thing out here,
Exactly.
bro. It's been out, man. But they just never had a reason to bring the actual vaccine out until this COVID crap got to where it is now. Because coronavirus been around for a while. Because if you notice, I don't think you can do it now, but go back. If you could go back and look at the Lysol cans from back in the day, It
Yeah,
had
say it.
coronavirus on there.
Okay, so listen, Mo, you know it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing new. That's why they call it COVID-19. So SARS,
Mm-hmm.
MERS, the coronas, the viruses that are the coronas, and the
Mm-hmm.
flu, they're all the same thing.
It's the
So
same thing.
all the same thing. It's just that now, whether it's weaponized or not, it's
Yep.
everywhere. And
Yep.
I ain't playing with it, man. Like I'm not playing with it. I moved from the city to the desert, and I noticed in the desert it ain't nothing but Mexicans without masks. They cough on and sneeze and touch every damn thing. And I see the difference culturally. Instead of
Yeah.
being somewhere super populated, dense,
Mm-hmm.
the sparser places, it's almost worse because no one takes it serious.
Yeah.
So that I told you that's what got me on because I used to be anti-vax all day long,
I
and
was too
man,
until
it's
I
a
started
black
doing the
girl.
research on it.
I knew a black girl that was one of the researchers. I knew a black girl that was on one of the teams at AstraZeneca and working on Warp Speed. Right, one of my exes. Shout out, what's up, baby? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what kind of got me the
Don't get your
information
ass
to
whooped.
change it up. That's what got me
Uh-huh.
to change it up. Is just learning about all that stuff and trusting that this isn't the new Tuskegee experiment. Because if you haven't noticed, the first ones to get vaccinated were rich old white people. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so it might be a gamble, but I'm not. I don't want to be unprotected out here because this is
Especially when
the
you're
damn new
around
polio.
a
Yeah.
lot. But I'm against getting my kids vaccinated though. I'm not doing that.
Remember when kids couldn't get it, and now that's what the
Yeah.
variant is. It's just
I'm
that
not
this is
gonna
the
do
kids'
that.
version.
I'm not gonna let them get it.
Would you let your kid get like Gardasil or like an HPV vaccine?
That they had to get that HPV though, man. Especially if you
Yeah,
go to public schools, you gotta get it. That's the only
yeah.
thing about going to public schools, that you have to get like all these different types of vaccines and shots or whatever going to public school. So that's why I said I was gonna keep my kid in homeschool, but nah, I gotta let him interact now, man.
Yeah,
I gotta
that's a
let
tough
him because
decision.
he been homeschooled for 6 years now, man. So he going to the, I mean, 5 years. He going to middle school next year. So I got him. I gotta get him to where he can be around other kids, man. But he do it in his boxing class. But as far as like in a classroom environment, nah, he's not the classroom environment like that. But I gotta get him out there, man. You gotta break that shell on him. Cause I hate for him to
Uh-oh.
have to whoop some. I just don't want him to whoop nobody ass at school.
But that's why you need him in school. That makes sense, bro. That makes sense.
Yeah, cause
Because you
cause
want to be well rounded.
yeah, he boxing, man, and I already know, bro. And I told him, I'm like, bro, I'm like, they gonna try you. They
Yeah.
gonna try you, and I'm like, if they put their hands on you, knock their ass out. I don't give a
Mhm.
damn. You get suspended, I don't care. Cause you defending yourself. Don't let nobody put their damn hands on you. Let them talk all the smack they
This
want to
boy,
talk,
the
but
next Javante. You got the little tank. You got a little tank,
man,
bro.
he gonna be ready, bro.
That's
I just
cool.
gotta make sure, you know what I'm saying. We gonna advance him. He's 10 now. We gonna advance him when he get 12. I think that's what his mom said. I don't know, man. Shit.
Did you
I
do
let
the
her handle.
show with me and the homie Ray? Yeah.
Hmm?
Did you do the show with me and the homie Ray? His
Yeah,
son's
I
in
did.
MMA. Yeah, man.
His son in MMA.
Yeah,
Oh,
he does like
that's a
MMA
different
training.
animal right there, boy.
But getting these kids in these combat individual sports, I think
Hmm.
that's smart. That's what I would do
It's
if I
key.
had a little kid.
It's key, man. Cause
Yeah.
Cause motherfuckers, man, these kids be talking about bullies and shit like that. Man, a bully. Man, if you in any one of them combat places, stuff like that, bro, you're not worried about nobody bullying you,
Exactly.
man.
But kids don't fight no more these days.
Nah,
And you know
man.
what I mean? Yeah.
You gotta learn how to defend yourself though.
Right.
And
I think that's
that's what
brilliant,
be
man.
going on with these damn kids that be getting bullied and shit. They don't know how to defend themselves, and then they parents, some of the parents coddle them. Nah, man.
We
I ain't
do
have to
too much
worry.
coddling in 2021.
We really
Everybody
do.
has been hurt from the past, and because we don't
Hmm.
like being hurt, we try to put bumpers and barriers on everything, and it's just messing it up. That's the process. That's what life has been. I definitely for the first 30 for me. I think the last
Hmm.
5, 10 years, it's been crazy just seeing the softening of society and how everything has just been what just softened. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Just lightened up. We got to do some. We got to have real change, and I think the impact of that change is control, being in
Yep.
ownership, and not having to react. I think that eventually we'll be at a point where we can plan things, and all facets of society. But right now, this whole, I don't like it, man. I don't like it at all.
So right here where it say like plan of action and
So
it says like
before we wrap
return.
up, we know we should talk about that Michigan shooter, right? Because every week it seems like we got a new shooter or a new loony in America. Have y'all been keeping up with this young man in Michigan that shot his classmates with the gun his parents bought him for a Christmas present, and it's still not Christmas?
Yeah, unfortunately. The
It's
parents are also being charged, so shout out
yeah.
to that.
Let's. I want to talk about it because I think that that's different, right? And that's interesting that we just had this other minor go to a different state, kill several people, and now with this minor, they're holding his parents accountable and they're tracing where he got the gun from. It's almost like gun control, and that's right next door to Wisconsin, isn't it? Michigan, they touch. Do you think that they were wrong for doing what they did to his parents or holding his parents accountable?
Man, sometimes you gotta hold. Somebody gotta be held accountable, man. Because didn't they buy the gun for him?
You said what? Then what?
Didn't his parents buy that gun for him?
Yeah, they bought him a pistol. They ain't buy him no rifle. They
Yeah.
they was gangsters.
But
They
his
bought
mom,
that man a pistol.
but they said that like right before he was about to do it, they said his mom called and told him not to. Tried to talk him out of it.
Yeah, I don't know all the details, but I think he got into an altercation at the school,
Hmm.
um, and he either went home and got the gun or brought the gun with him to school after this altercation. And yeah, it probably could have been prevented.
Hmm. Man, that
Um,
shit crazy.
have you ever been to SRO?
Mm-mm.
And when you do legal protection, do you ever do SRO or school resource officer things?
Oh yeah, yeah, we do. Whenever I do the protection officer thing, I do. I did it before when I was in Texas. I was doing the school resource officer. When I was in
Right.
Texas, I was doing it. When
That's
I was
good
at
money in Texas.
what was it? It was a high school. I did it for like 3 years. I did it in Houston. Actually, I did it in Pearland, Texas,
Nice.
for 3 years at this high school. Man, it was dope, man. I ain't never have to worry about nothing because most of the kids, man, they respected the teachers. Man, there's some rich snobby ass kids. They respected the teachers because most of the teachers knew their parents. And
Right.
then another thing is that they ended up getting. Then I ended up getting the respect from most of them. And man, once you get the kids' respect, man, you straight. You ain't too much got to worry about nothing.
That's community. And that's what
It's
I'm
all about.
saying. It's all about
Yep.
connections and relationships. When we can't relate to another with each other, we don't have any kind of community, only bad things are gonna happen. So yeah, man. This Michigan one, I just think that I think he's gonna be what we wanted for Kyle Rittenhouse. Because he wasn't provoked in an attack with a rifle in public. This fool brought a gun to school. And I just think that they are going to bip this boy up with the worst legal intentions. I think they're going to put him for life or at least 2 counts. I think that kid's going to go to jail for at least 20 years.
I think he's going to definitely be punished, but I think that they are going to go for the parents as well, and kind of putting in perspective, such as like in the Rittenhouse case, where you see that the mother brings him and drives him over state lines with this rifle in the car, and she doesn't get any type of repercussions or consequences to that, knowing that's her son also being underage. So I think this is going to, I hope, set a new precedent where parents are being more accountable for their children. Now, granted, all parents can't always know what their children are doing because of their lifestyles, but at the same time, if in court a parent has a party with underage children and they drink and something happens to that child when they leave, those parents are being prosecuted. And I feel like it's the same thing more than ever when it comes to any type of threat to a child's life or a child being murdered.
Amen. Let me ask you a question. When y'all was kids, did your parents ever give you a surprise whooping?
Surprised, like I didn't know it was coming. They just walked in and was just like, "It's time."
Like you just got your ass kicked for no reason. Like you were in your room minding your business. You ain't did nothing wrong, but your mama whoop your ass just so you know that ass whooping can come at any time.
No, that didn't happen to me.
Okay.
I'm just going on mute in case that happened to anybody.
I had those. I told you I was raised by a single mother, so my mom couldn't have me making those mistakes, and I was an at-risk kid till about 7th grade, and then I really started changing things around for myself. But yeah, I used to get those. I just, when I hear you all this stuff, I was thinking, if he would have got a ambush, this might not have happened. You know, when you're worried about being blindsided, you prepare differently.
Maybe, but that's also your upbringing and like your strength and the relationship between you and your mother. You can also spin that narrative and say that like you could have easily went against that and went the opposite route because of you just being beat up for no reason. So that takes you to situations when you're in school and that's happening with bullying, and now you're at the point now you want to shoot the club up. So it can go either way in those situations as well.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I just know that was a big thing in parenting not that long ago, because you just knew better than to make those mistakes because you knew you could get it. But I think that's more so in a parent's mindset on how not to go down for your kids' mistakes, if that makes sense, is why I thought of that. Because I experienced it, and I think maybe there was some brilliance in that.
I like it, and I would agree with you because of your experiences. But then you also see in this situation where it looks like the family, when it comes to this Michigan kid, that they talked about it. They literally had family dinners, and they then let's go get a gun. And even one of the text messages from the mom was like, if you do it, make sure you don't get caught. Like, what? Hold on. How are you not going to get caught by shooting someone? So it's just it's just a different way to view it. But I understand where you're coming from.
I just think that gun control is something in America that will never really be had. We will always talk about what we should, could, and would do. But this country is all about the gun. I hate looking at those holiday photos where you see the conservative family with alabaster skin and automatic rifles. It is terrifying to me.
Can I play devil's advocate with that? Because I totally agree with you. Although, like, yes, America has a problem with how we do gun control, but we are a country where if any other country ever tried to invade us, there's a possibility that everyone, for the most part, will have a gun in their homes. Hence, we don't usually get invaded because we do have means where we have access to these guns, where we're able to also not only protect us, but protect our families. In other countries, there's only the police officers that have guns. So in the event where anyone's invading them, they have no real means of defense outside of whether the military or the police in their area. So that is something, although, like I said, I do agree with you when it comes to gun laws. But that is something that I can say is being in America. I didn't hear you. I'm sorry, B.
No, I said I agree with you too. Like we need guns. I'm not anti-gun at all. I'm aware that America is violent. We identify with violence. This is the land of violence. Everything about America really is on the bed of violence. Certainly, we're protected from invasion because a lot of people have guns. Also, our geography, the land size, et cetera, et cetera. I just was saying I agree with you. I definitely agree with that.
We agree with each other.
I appreciate y'all. I just wanted to talk a little bit. I mean, this week has been interesting. We've got the big homies kind of popping off. We started a new spinoff podcast. I think that we've been doing a little bit of promotion for that. I know I've been interacting with people on different platforms for that. What y'all think about this big homies project, man? Mo is silent.
I think we all are. And maybe when we finish, figure out what we're going to do in our chat, we can have more information for you and the people. Yeah? Stay tuned, everyone. Shout out to the big homies.
Definitely check it out. I guess it's still in development. There's some intellectual disputes on the table. But absolutely. This has been a good episode. I appreciate everybody taking some time. You guys can see where to follow me on the banner. Do you guys want to share any social media or any projects, any messages, anything before we break?
Of course I will. Thank you so much for that opportunity, D. I would say, hi, everyone. I'm Gigi, and you can find me on Twitter at gcarly7. That's GQARLY and the number 7. I'm also on the Big Homies podcast with Mo, Bobby Dollars, and the Chubby Idris Alba. And you can also find me on a podcast called Just a Conversation with Greg, Mr. Rap Money, and Gigi. More projects coming soon.
Anybody else got anything they want to drop before we break? I know y'all can definitely check me out on all platforms. I'm on Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, SoundCloud, IG, Facebook, everywhere. It's at Chubby Idris Elba. I hope that you listen to the podcast, Modern Black Man Podcast. I'm on all platforms, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Until the next episode, peace.
Peace.
Am I supposed to put somebody who say leader responsibility? Am I supposed to do any of this?
Let me see. Hold on. Leader response.